Well, hello, everybody. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name's JD. I'm one of the pastors at North City Church. Thank you so much for joining us this evening and creating this space. I'm grateful that you've gathered with us tonight. For those who are here in person and online, welcome. I hope that this is a healing night for you and for all of us together. If you're joining us online, thank you for joining us. Thank you for creating this space. We appreciate you being with us in this way. Just want to say before we begin, if you did not get a nail or a piece of paper, you're going to need that later. So feel free to discreetly sneak out back and grab one if you need one. But tonight, our hope for you is that we can find healing in Jesus' sacrifice. Isaiah 53:5 foreshadows Jesus' sacrifice by saying this phrase, "By his wounds we are healed." On the cross, we believe Jesus both took the weight of our transgressions and the broken things in the world. The pain caused by our own mistakes, the pain we experience because of others' mistakes, the pains of the systems that run our world that often cause pain. Because Jesus suffered, we can find salvation. In the New Testament, the word for salvation can just as easily be translated healing. In that way, through his suffering, we can find healing. We can find healing in his suffering. Tonight, our hope is to both come to the cross and contemplate Jesus' suffering and to express our own pain and the pain of the world. This is what faith on Good Friday looks like. We put our faith in Jesus' power to heal and restore. Faith that we will find some healing in Jesus' sacrifice, even tonight. The ancients had a practice to express suffering, and they called it lament. Lament is simply a prayer out of pain. It's that practice that we hope to walk through together tonight with you. Lament is an ancient way of being real with God and being faithfully honest. Faith in that we trust God can handle whatever pain we're expressing or crying out. Honest in that we need not hide anything from God because he is slow to anger and abounding in love. And Jesus has dealt with any pain we might carry through those doors or as we're watching tonight. So for the sake of your own healing, for the sake of the healing of our world, would you come with me on a lament journey this evening? A journey to the cross, a faithful and honest journey. Let's begin by contemplating Jesus' own journey to the cross. I invite you through this next time to join in singing. I'd encourage you to stand if you feel led to stand, if you're able, or to sit. Whatever gets you in a space to contemplate Jesus' own journey to Calvary. Over the next few moments, we're going to go back and forth through some experiences and words that Jesus spoke around and on the cross, and some songs that help us reflect on that. And as we do so, as we enter into that time, I invite you to look to this cross. And maybe as you do, you can start to contemplate those 2,000 some years ago. Look to the cross and imagine how Jesus sweat blood in Gethsemane. Look to the cross and imagine his own friends who betrayed him. Look to the cross and imagine how he was dragged, tied to a pole, and beaten until his back was red with blood and covered with lacerations. Look to the cross and imagine his head as they placed a crown of thorns upon it, beating it to his head as the thorns pierced through his flesh. Look at the cross and imagine how with all of the bodily pain he was experiencing, all the aching and the stinging and the burning sensations, he carried a heavy wooden beam 3 miles or more through the town, passing crowds that spat on him, said names to him. Look at the cross and imagine how he fell on the road under that cross's weight. Look at the cross and imagine how when he arrived at Golgotha, he was stripped of his clothing, humiliating him, and without care for his wounds or his dignity. Look at the cross and imagine the nails piercing his hands and feet, the tug of the nails as the cross was violently set in place. Look at the cross and imagine Jesus on that day. Let's journey to the cross and find healing in his sacrifice.
As the ocean, loving kindness as the flood, when the Prince of Life our ransom shed for us his precious blood. Here is love, vast as the ocean, loving kindness as the flood, when the Prince of Life our ransom shed for us his precious blood. Who is love will not remember, who can cease to sing his praise. He can never be forgotten throughout heaven's eternal day. Crucifixion, fountains open deep and wide. Through the floodgates of God's mercy flowed a vast and gracious tide. Grace and love like mighty rivers poured incessant from above. Heaven's peace and perfect justice kissed a guilty world in love. Who is love will not remember, who can cease to sing his praise. He can never be forgotten throughout heaven's eternal No love is higher, no love is wider, no love is deeper, no love is truer, no love is higher, no love is wider, no love is like your love, oh Lord. No love is higher, no love is wider, no love is deeper, no love is truer, no love is higher, no love is wider, no love is like your love, oh Lord. No love is higher, no love is wider, no love is deeper, no love is truer, no love is higher, no love is wider, no love is like your love, oh Lord. Here is love, vast as the ocean, loving kindness as the flood, when the Prince of Life, our ransom, shed for us his precious blood.
I want to read for you some words from Matthew 27, verses 45 through 46. Jesus, now on the cross, says, "From noon until 3 in the afternoon, darkness came over all the land. About 3 in the afternoon, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, 'Ela, Ela, lama sabachthani,' which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" In those moments, Jesus was feeling all the pain that the world has felt in separation from God. I mentioned I want to bring us through the practice of lament. The first step in the practice of lament is to cry out to God. If you read the Psalms, there is some crying out to God that David, who wrote many of the Psalms, does. And actually, in this moment, Jesus is quoting one of those Psalms, Psalm 22, that says these same words. They're filled with cries to God for help. Jesus on the cross chooses to quote this and express the pain and the gravity of the moment, the full weight of what he bears. So in these moments we have together in this time, I want to invite you to cry out as well and contemplate the suffering of Jesus. There have been many moments this year in my own life where I've asked, why God? Why? Maybe you've experienced some of those moments this year, for our world or for your own life. Why have you not acted? Why, God? Where are you? Why, God? Why do I yet suffer? Why, God? Why does such pain still exist in our city and in our world? In these next few moments, I invite you to enter into that spirit of crying out to God. Address God directly in your prayers. Bring your wide God prayers to this moment. None of them are too big for the cross. As we do that, Kara Doughton, who is the worship coordinator at North City, who's been leading us so far tonight, has a song that she wrote in this vein. It's called Lament Song. This is raw, it's real. This is what it means to enter in and cry out to God. So I invite you, as you listen to this song that Kara has crafted and will share with us tonight, to enter into that space, to pray those prayers that maybe you haven't voiced yet, in trust that Jesus, in his suffering, has created space for us to cry out to his Father.
I've been down before, but never like this. I can't tell if it's night or if it's day. My pain, the agony, melts time. It all starts looking the same. Have my words fallen on deaf ears? that screaming noise is the echoes of each time I've called your name. Save me. Truly loving God wouldn't let me burn. Burn in this hell. I'm burning in hell. I fear there's not much left, just skin and bones. And any relief I now take foolishly. When you're starving and burning and falling all at once, have my words falling on deaf ears? Can you hear me? Are you listening? That screaming noise is the echoes of each time I've called your name. Save me. Save me. My God, have you forsaken me? Have you left me here to die? My God, have you abandoned me? Is everything I know of you a lie? My God, have you forsaken me? Have you left me here to die? My God, have you abandoned me? Is everything I know of you a lie? Save me. Save me.
Thank you, Kara. Lament is an act of faith. It's an act of faith that God can handle everything we have inside of us. Our deepest pain can be expressed in God's presence. The next step in lament is to lament, is to pray out of pain, the actual expression and articulation of hurt and what's hurt us, the brokenness that stung us this year. And this year has been one of pain and affliction and loss. All of us have known someone who's lost someone or lost someone ourselves or just lost something this year. Have we created space to express that pain, knowing in faith that God can handle that? On top of that, we live in a world where hurt people are hurting people all over. It's been such a year of loss, 550,000 lost to COVID. Our own city and the upheaval and the unrest and the racial reckoning, centuries of racism coming out, violence against the AAPI community, lockdowns that we all experienced, so much pain. We as Christians need to receive the invitation here on Good Friday, not to hold it inside, but say that our God can handle the pain and we can express it. What will happen in these next few moments is that the band will play some music here or create this space that might be uncomfortable for you, but I know it will be healing. We're creating the space here for you to verbalize our collective pain. What I want to invite you to do is speak out loud the pain in our world and lift your voice in this expression of pain for the things that you see in our world that we're experiencing, the things that Jesus died for on the cross. For those of you who are watching online, we would love for you to join with us and put those things in the comments as a way to join in our lament in this space. Now, I know that there's been so much private pain that we've experienced as well. And what I want to invite you to do during this time, if you feel led to express a public pain that you and others in your community have experienced, I invite you to do that out loud. But I'm sure there's plenty of private pain that you're experiencing as well. And I want to give you permission to express that in your own prayers to God in this time. So here we go. Into the awkwardness, into the tension. And I want to invite you, as you're ready, to just verbalize the pain you experience as an act of faith, that God can handle our pain. And soon, the band will play, but express those laments as you feel led.
God, it's been so lonely for people who haven't been able to be here.
Racial separation in the downtown. I want unity. Straws to the cake from the wheat.
There's been so much fear.
The burning down of Lake Street. stewardship and leadership from teachers and learning.
Being a teacher and missing my students.
How deep the Father's love for us, how vast beyond all measure, that He should give His only Son to make a wretch His treasure. How great the pain of searing loss, the Father turns His face away, as wounds which mar the chosen one bring many sons to glory. Behold the man upon a cross, my sin upon His shoulders. Ashamed, I hear my mocking voice call out among the scoffers. It was my sin that held Him there until it was accomplished. His dying breath has brought me life. I know that it is finished. Thank you, Jesus. It is finished. Oh, it is finished. Oh, I will not boast in anything. No gifts, no power, no wisdom. But I will boast in Jesus Christ, His death and resurrection. Why should I gain from His reward? I cannot give an answer. But this I know with all my heart, His wounds have paid my ransom. Why should I gain from His reward? I cannot give an answer. But this I know with all my heart, His wounds have paid my ransom. Yes, this I know with all my heart, His wounds have paid my ransom.
After Jesus had taken a 3-hour journey of carrying his cross through the city, after he had been impaled to the cross, nails through his hands and his feet, after he had been mocked, stripped, spat on, after hours of hanging by his hands and feet, he uttered something. The only expression of human suffering uttered throughout his whole excruciating crucifixion. I thirst. The God who is the ground of all being, who spoke the universe into existence, the God who is love, said, I thirst. Isaiah 53:4 says, surely he took up our pain and bore our suffering. As you look to this thirsty Jesus, we are invited to let him take our pain and let him bear our suffering. Like the many other words uttered by Jesus on the cross, that is a reference, something to a psalm. As a deer pants for water, so my soul thirsts after you. In that moment, Jesus was experiencing what those apart from God experience, a thirst to be with their Creator. The next step in the lament is to express our own personal affliction. When you came in, you received a paper and pencil and a pen and a nail. We invite you through these next few moments to write out what pain you are carrying with you, how you thirst, what suffering you are in the midst of, the ways that you thirst in your life now. This could be a pain that you inflicted on yourself, a pain inflicted on you. It doesn't matter. Jesus died for it all. Then, as a way of trusting that when Jesus says, I thirst, he's saying, I will thirst for you. I will take your pain. I will bear your suffering. As an act of faith that you can find healing in his sacrifice. Come and nail your pains to this beam that represents the cross that he hung on. So I want to invite you to take the next few moments to write out something that you would like to express. For those of you online, maybe you can do some version of this at home to write some note and then maybe crumple it up in your fist. For those of us here, there's hammers right here on this pew. There's also some sanitation wipe if you'd like to take advantage of that to wipe off the hammers. What I'd like to invite you to do in these next few moments is to take that pain that you've expressed on that piece of paper and to nail it on the cross as a way of saying, yes, Jesus, I will let you thirst for me. So come forward as you are ready.
Oh, sacred head now wounded with grief and shame weighed down, now scornfully surrounded with thorns, thine only crown. How pale thou art with anguish, with sore abuse and scorn. How does that visage languish, which which once was bright as morn. What thou, my Lord, hast suffered, 'twas all for sinners' gain. Mine was the transgression, but thine the deadly pain. Lo, here I fall, my Savior, 'tis I deserve thy place. Look on me with thy favor, vouchsafe to me thy grace. What language shall I borrow to thank thee, dearest friend, for this thy dying sorrow, thy pity without end? Oh, make me thine forever, and should I fainting be, Lord, let me never, never outlive my love for thee. When I survey the wondrous cross on which the Prince of Glory died, my richest gain I count but loss, and pour content on all my pride. See from his head, his hands, his feet, sorrow and love flow mingle down. Did e'er such love and sorrow me, or thorns compose so rich a crown. And were the whole realm of nature mine, that were an offering far too small. Oh, love so amazing, so divine, demands my soul, my life, my own. Love so amazing, so divine, demands my soul, demands my soul, my life, my.
I will wait for you. We end our time together tonight in the reverence fitting the occasion. But make no mistake, we leave tonight not in despair, not riddled with guilt or racked by shame that's far too deep for us to bear. We leave in humble willingness to receive what Jesus has released. His final words, it's finished. And then, as Luke recounts, Jesus called out in a loud voice, "Father, into your hands I commend my spirit." The work of the cross is now placed in the hands of God. Like the women waiting and watching who did not leave him, we accept that there's nothing more to be done. We accept that we have nothing to offer. But that does not leave us to grieve as people who are without hope. On Good Friday, we stand boldly in two postures. We grieve and we lament in full honesty before God with all of our sorrows and all of our doubts and all of our questions. Because that's what Jesus did. He exemplified that in his dying. So our first posture is to lament about what has been added to his suffering in ourselves and in our world. And to cry out for help from the only source that we know can save us. And that's when we discover the other posture. In the middle of our cries and our laments, hope springs up. It breaks through. And it continues to push us forward into the next moment and into the next day. We find that we are waiting for and we're expecting the morning of the third day. One of the great traditions of the church is called the stripping of the altar or bearing the altar. We're going to make the altar bare. It's that physical acknowledgement that we cannot and we need not add to the finished work of Christ. We did nothing to earn it. We cannot lay rights on it, and we just don't deserve it. All of the distractions, all of the accessories of our lives are merely that. It is Jesus alone who carries us willingly to the cross and then to the grave. Our only faithful response, our only faithful action is just to respond to what has been accomplished for us. And so after our final song, we're going to carry out the cross from the sanctuary, and then we will follow it out in a silent procession. I'll ask you to come forward one by one, and I'll hand you the things here until we've emptied the altar, just as Christ emptied himself of all but love. This is our statement of trust. This is our willingness to be included in the full work of redemption and healing. This is our confidence that we wait for that moment when God reaches out his hand and he lifts Jesus from the grave and he introduces us to our resurrected Jesus. Lamb of God, who takes away the sin of the world, have mercy on us. By your grace, help us to believe in the power of your death and your resurrection. And through the tears of lament, may we proclaim the hope of your life at work within us, within this room today. Amen.
Out of the depths I cry to you. In darkest places I will call. Incline your ear to me anew, and hear my cry for mercy, Lord. Were you to count my sinful ways, how could I come before your throne? Yet full forgiveness meets my gaze. I stand redeemed by grace alone. I will wait for you, I will wait for you on your word. I will rely, I will wait for you, surely wait for you, till my soul is satisfied. So put your hope in God alone. Take courage in his power to save, completely and forever one, by Christ emerging from the grave. And I will wait for you, I will wait for you on your word. I will rely, I will wait for you, surely wait for you, till my soul is satisfied. Oh, has come to make a way, and God himself has paid the price, that all who trust in him today find healing in his sacrifice, that all who trust in him today find healing in his sacrifice. I will wait for you, I will wait for you through the storm and through the night. I will wait for you, surely wait for you, for your love is my delight. I will wait for you, I will wait for you through the storm and through the night. I will wait for you, surely wait for you, for your love is my delight. And I will wait for you, I will wait for you through the storm and through the night. I will wait for you, surely wait for you, for your love is my delight. I will wait for you, I will wait for you. Sing it out. On your word, I will rely. I will wait for you, surely wait for you, till my soul is satisfied. Sing it again. I will wait for you, I will wait for you, on your word I will rely. I will wait for you, surely wait for you, till my soul is satisfied.
Lonnie and Andrew are going to come and remove the crossbeam. And then I invite you, just one by one, come up and I'll hand you something. And we'll leave in reverence and respect. And we will wait for the Lord.